By TGB Promotions and Showtime. At this time, please welcome our fighters to the stage for the WBC Featherweight Championship of the World. First, the challenger from Otumba, Mexico, the top contender and former WBC Super Bantamweight Champion of the World, introducing REY VARGAS. And his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, is the defending world champion, fighting out of Los Angeles by way of Tagbilaran City, Bohol in the Philippines. Here is the WBC Featherweight Champion of the World, Mark Magnifico Magsayo.
I think it's safe to say REY VARGAS is the favorite, even though he's the
well, fans, here we go with the battle of undefeated featherweights, undefeated stars of the division. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Featherweight Championship of the World. First, we invite the challenger to the scale with a record of 35 wins, no losses, 22 knockouts. He is the WBC #1 ranked featherweight contender, the undefeated REY VARGAS.
This is only REY VARGAS' second fight since 2019. Remember, he was in that horrific car accident, motorcycle accident, correction. So second fight in 3 years.
125.5 pounds, 125.5 pounds for the challenger, REY VARGAS.
Well, he looked good in his
and now, with a record of 24 wins, no losses, with 16 knockouts, he'll be making the first defense of his title. Here's the reigning WBC Featherweight Champion of the World, Mark Magnifico Magsayo.
I hate when fighters do that too. That's his belt from 122 that he no longer has, that Fulton has.
125.5 pounds, 125.5 pounds for Mark Magsayo, the champion.
But I like the fight. It's just not nothing that really moves the needle for casual fans. But I expect it to be a fun fight, though. I got REY VARGAS, even though he is the smaller fighter. This is only his second fight at 126 pounds officially. Like, he's officially moved up. And this is only his second fight in nearly 3 years since he got into the motorcycle accident. His last fight was on the undercard of Canelo versus Plant against a Leonardo Baez. Yeah, he just carrying that joint around. I hate when fighters do that, or they carry some, like, I hate that shit. It's like, bro, you're not champion down there no more.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. TGB Promotions Showtime Championship Boxing Premier Boxing Champions presents the main event of the evening, the WBC Featherweight Championship of the World, Mark Magsayo versus REY VARGAS.
Nope, no news yet, Leonardo. We're still waiting on what's going to happen with that. With the WBA.
Alamo City, San Antonio, Texas.
We're still waiting on what's going to happen with the WBA and Lee Wood and Leo Santa Cruz, who's supposed to be fighting. But let's talk about the card real quick. All right, welcome. TstreeT Controversy with Fight View 360. This Saturday on Showtime, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Showtime YouTube page. First is they're going to open up with 2 fights. One of them is going to be Rashidi Ellis in his PBC debut, taking on the Jose. Here, let me go pull it up right here. Taking on a Jose Murafo. Here, let me see if I can pull it up here for those who didn't see it. You know, them weighing in right here. Here's Rashidi Ellis weighing in for his PBC debut.
153.5 pounds, 153.5 pounds for Rasheed.
He's been trapped over Golden Boy for a while, for years, and they wasn't able to really do nothing with him. And he's going to be a nice addition to the 154-pound stable over at with PBC. And the guy he fighting, this is a late replacement. They just found him off the street somewhere, pretty much like yesterday. So this guy that he's facing is 13-10-2. So this is just a showcase fight for Rashidi Ellis to get the rust off, and also to, you know, for PBC, you know, it's his debut. So that's going to be on the Showtime page, and then the card is actually going to open up with who's supposed to be this the new hot prospect under.
Pounds for Jackson Marinez, 138.
I mean, well, Rashidi's been off for a while, so, you know, you would think that it's only natural for him to fight at 154 now.
15 wins, no losses with 11 knockouts. The rising lightweight star making his Showtime debut, Frank the Ghost Martin.
This is the guy that we're supposed to be paying attention
137.5 pounds, 137.5 pounds for Frank the Ghost Martin.
As you can see, he's trained by Derek James, and he's in the Errol Spence camp, promoted by Man Down Promotions. So he's supposed to be the new hot thing at 135 pounds. So he's so the card on Showtime.
Frank the Ghost Martin versus El Phoenix Jackson Marinez.
So the card on Showtime is supposed to open up with Frank Martin versus Jackson Marinez. That's not
San Antonio Premier Boxing Champions continues with our official weigh-in.
That's 9 p.m. Eastern. That's 9 p.m. Eastern. And then it's going to be Frank Martin versus, my bad, I got a little confused. It's going to be Frank Martin versus the guy Jackson Marinez. And then it's going to be Carlos Castro as the second fight versus Brandon Figueroa. And this is at 126 pounds. So Brandon Figueroa is now done with 122, it seems, and campaigning at 126. So if there's going to be a rematch between him and Stephen Fulton, it's looking like it's going to have to happen at 126 pounds. But they did say yesterday that Brandon Figueroa, if he does win against Carlos Castro tomorrow, then he's in line for the winner of the main event, which is going to be REY Vargas and Mark Magsayo. So sometime later on this year, we could possibly see REY Vargas against, because I'm thinking REY Vargas is going to win. Yeah, Marinez is the dude that was supposed to have beat Rolly.
In a 126.2 pounds, slightly over the limit. He has 2 hours to come back and make weight at 126 pounds. Once again, this is for the WBC Featherweight World Title Eliminator.
See? So this
looks
is a title
like his
eliminator
corner has a
126.
plan to make him weigh in at that 126-pound limit, stepping onto the scale once again.
But how would you rate this card, though? I would rate it a C+. It just has no casual appeal, basically.
Brandon Figueroa weighs in at the featherweight limit of 126 pounds even. 126 for the Heartbreaker.
It's better than the Chisora Pulev card, and I rate that a C. By the way, Omar Figueroa and Adrian Broner are supposed to be fighting like August the 20th. All right, and here's the main event.
His opponent, ladies and gentlemen, is the defending world champion, fighting out of Los Angeles by way of Tagbilaran City, Bohol in the Philippines. Here is the WBC featherweight champion of the world, Mark Magnifico Magsayo. Well, fans, here we go with the battle of undefeated featherweights, undefeated stars of the division. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Featherweight Championship of the World. First, we invite the challenger to the scale with a record of 35 wins, no losses, 22 knockouts. He is the WBC #1 ranked featherweight contender, the undefeated REY Vargas.
REY Vargas looks huge, but he's never really competed over 123 pounds since his last fight, outside of his last fight and this fight.
125.5 pounds, 125.5 pounds for the challenger, REY Vargas.
And Magsayo.
And now, with a record of 24 wins, no losses, with 16 knockouts, he'll be making the first defense of his title. Here's the reigning WBC featherweight champion of the world, Mark Magnifico Magsayo.
So on paper, Magsayo is the bigger fighter, but when you see them face off, and I wonder how they're going to look in the ring.
125 and a half pounds, 125 and a half pounds for Mark Magsayo, the champion.
But as you can see, when they face off, that REY VARGAS is going to look significantly bigger. You know, longer frame, obviously, taller. But I can't wait to see, or I'm interested in seeing how they're going to look once they're in the ring together. But, you know, I hate, to say it like this, but listen, I don't think that Mark Magsayo can beat a healthy Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr., didn't have a full training camp with his pop. Unfortunately, he ended up losing his pop, prayers to him and his family. And also, he had a significant injury and coming off of a layoff. But hey, I understand excuses and all that type of shit, but that's just my opinion, I don't think that Mark Magsayo can beat a healthy Gary Russell. Yeah, 24-0, 16 KOs, 35-0. (35-0, 35-0, 22 KOs for REY VARGAS, and 24-0 with 16 KOs for Mark Magsayo. So definitely somebody's O is going to go. Like, for sure.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. TGB Promotions Showtime Championship Boxing Premier Boxing Champions presents the main event of the evening, the WBC Featherweight Championship of the World, Mark Magsayo versus REY Vargas.
All right, guys, so this is what I'm going to do. I got to do a show at 6 o'clock where we're going to be talking about multiple things every two, unless it's a big fight like Canelo versus Golovkin, or, Usyk versus Joshua. I'll be doing streams on Monday, 6 p.m., Tuesday, 6 p.m., Thursday, 6 p.m., Friday, 6 p.m. And then we'll be streaming during boxing events, the main event. So, for example, tomorrow I'll be streaming during the main event of Derek Chisora versus Kubrat Pulev 2. Then later on in the night, I'll be covering these fights on the undercard and also streaming during the main event, Mark Magsayo versus REY Vargas, if you want to hang out, watch some brief legal fair use highlights, and talk about the fights. So I'll see you guys in about 2.5 hours or so. Actually, 3 hours, 3.5 hours for my boxing stream, where we're going to talk about multiple topics. Take a time out, like the video, subscribe. All the links to my social media, my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram is down below in the description box. Also, take a time out, download the WBC app powered by the Vive Network. Links are also down below. Thanks for watching. Drop a like, and I'll see you guys later on.